When working with decimals and percentages, there are a few basic things to remember. Let's look at decimals first. So we had the decimal number 23.615. Okay, now the 3 is in what's called the ones column. This is in the tens column. This is in the tenths. This is in the hundreds. And this is in the thousands. So if you like, 23.615 is equal to 2 is in the tens, so that'll be 2 times 10, plus 3 is in the 1, 3 times 1, plus 6 is in the tenths, so that's 6 times 1 on 10, plus 1 times 1 on 100, plus 5 is in the thousands. So that will allow us to get the number in, we could do it as a whole number, and then we could make these all into fractions. So the 2 times 10 is 20, plus 3 is 23, and then plus 6 on 10, plus 1 on 100, plus 5 on 1,000. As working with decimals, we need to make all the denominators the same. So it looks like we're going to have to make them all into thousands, so we've got to multiply this by 100, so it'll be 600 on 1,000, plus 1 times 10, which is 10 on 1,000, plus 5 on 1,000. So that's equal to 23 and 615 on 1,000. When we working to be able to convert from one to the other is important. So we've got fractions to decimals. To convert a fraction to a decimal, you just put the numerator and divide it by the denominator. To go from a decimal to a fraction, we can use the system that we've actually outlined there above, but it's pretty straightforward. You can actually do it in a lot quicker steps than this. So if we had 23.615, you just put the whole number down, and then you put whatever's after the decimal place as your numerator. So in this case it was 615 is whatever's after decimal place, and then your denominator is a 1 followed by however many digits you actually put down there. We put down 3 digits, so then we'll put 1 followed by 3 digits. So that's the way to go from decimals to fractions. Let's have a look at if we want to convert 2.56 to a fraction. So that'll be 2, and we put whatever's after the decimal place as our numerator. We put down a 1 always, and how many decimal places? 2, so we put 2 zeros down there. If we've got a fraction, so 7 over 8, and we want to make that into a decimal, and we just rely on a little bit of short division here. We want to divide the 8 into 7, and 8 into 7 won't go. Now we put a decimal there, we can put as many zeros after that and it won't change the value. So we're dividing 8 into 7. 8 into 7 does not go. We carry our 7, put the decimal place above there. 8 into 70, 8 eighths are 64, 6 left over, 8 sevens are 56. and there are 4 left to make up to 60, so there's 4 there. 8 into 40 goes 5, so that'll be 0.875. So fractions to decimals, and we need to be able to convert decimals back to fractions. Percentages. Percentages are per 100, so the symbol is that, and that is per 100. So we got per centum. Centum means 100 per 100. So 1 equals, the number 1 is equal to 100%. So if we've got a fraction and we want to convert it to a percent, we simply multiply by 100. And if we've got a percent and we want to make it into a fraction, we divide by 100. So 3/4, and we want to convert that to a percent, equals 3 on 4 multiplied by 100 over 1. Going back, we've got 3 times 100 is 300 over 4, multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms, and that's 75%. If we've got a percentage, if we've got 82%, and we want to make that into a fraction, we divide by 100. Now another way we could say 82 divided by 100, or another way of writing that is 82 over 100. And you know that you shouldn't give your answer, you always give it, let's be positive, always give your answer in its lowest cancel down form, and we can straight away see that these are both even, so we're going to divide by 2, and we get 41/50, so that's equal to 41 over 50. So there's fractions. Decimals are the same sort of deal, so if we've got decimals, to a percentage, it's the same rule, multiply by 100 and then divide by 100. So if we want 0.3 and we want that as a percent, so we're going to multiply by 100, so that's 0.3 multiplied by 100. Multiplying by 100, we see that there are 2 zeros, so it means we just move 2 decimal places to the right. So we move 1 to there. After the 3 we can't go another one, so we put a 0. So it'll be 0, 3. Now if we move it 1 decimal place, it'll be there. We add another 0 and we go to there. Now that's a percent. So 030 with a decimal at the end is just 30%. And we've got a percentage, so we want 46%. We want that as a decimal. Divide by 100, so that's 46 divided by 100 equals 46 over 100. Dividing by 100. Now if we're dividing by 100, multiplying by 100 you move to the right. When you're dividing by 100 you move 2 places to the left. So at the moment the decimal place is after there. It's 46, which is 46.0. Whoops. So the decimal place at the moment is here. We're going to go back 1 and 2. 2 zeros means we're going to move 2 decimal places back in that direction and then put our decimal there. So that's dividing by 100 is 0.46, and we usually put a 0.46 there. So there we go. We've got fractions and decimals and percentages now, and we need to be able to be fluent in being able to convert from one to the other. We need to understand what the decimal places mean. the number is significant as far as where it is in the number when you've got a decimal place. And then conversions from one to the other. Percentage is per 100, and 1 is regarded as being 100%. So 2, for instance, would be 200%. 2.5 is 250%, and so on. And then we need to be able to do the conversions as well.